And it looks like we're just about getting started. Yeah. So here we go. Plan Blitz on Inkblot.
Oh, Black and Spoon. I'm sorry.
What did you...
Black and Spoon.
Black
I
and
am
Spoon.
so sorry, Spoon. I love you.
And it looks like so far we have S4 coming out with kind of the double NZAP comp right there. That's what I was waiting for. And so far, we don't have a lot happening here, not a lot of map control, but we do have a charger out there with PokeFan, so that was something that we were definitely talking about and hoping for.
Yeah, absolutely. PokeFan setting up for the Stingray. He has Chassis in his sights. Really good throwaway by the blaster here as this Stingray is eventually going to fish out the blaster. A really good play anticipating the football reset there and just sticking the Stingray on it. Wombo, though, is going to pick up the football and is going to juke these suction bombs. Does have a splashdown at the ready as the team are trying to figure out where they want to push. They do have to expend the splashdown before they get onto the point. Are going to get one down, looking to capitalize on that. They just need to get up these steps, but unfortunately they're wiped by S4.
Oh, man. And that's something that we were talking about earlier with Baller and Splashdown. When you pop those specials, you do lose the football. So you have to be really careful. It kind of looked like for a minute there, they didn't really know that they had lost it and they kept pushing. And, you have to just be aware of where your football is when you pop those.
Absolutely, yeah. There are some specials where you lose it. There's some where you keep it. Those being Ink Armor, Ink Jet, Bubbles, as we're seeing. Yes, take down Chassis. Ooh, good solo push.
Very nice.
Out.
Oh man.
He's going to get splatted eventually, but the damage has been done. The first lead goes to S4 as Akai. They do have the map control, but let's see how they can recover from this.
Yeah, for sure. They're looking, hopefully they're able to push back through. And we have that, PokeFan is doing a lot of map control and coverage and working towards that. Just sitting there waiting for people to come through, watching mid.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I've done that myself. Koru, unfortunately, misplaced that bubble on the steps. It's so hard to get it over that ledge. But meanwhile, Chassis was building a football and he super jumped to Wombo. That's something that we definitely are going to see a lot more going forward, is just setting those super jumps up for your team because the safest way to collect clams is when you have map control. So getting somebody to 8 or 9, collecting the rest, getting that super jump in, very clean lead by Xiller. So this is a close match so far, but the clam lead is in S4's favor.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that super jump, like you were saying, super important for that. And that's also another thing to mention when we were talking about this kind of 50 clams before you have a power clam. Look at that. There's a lot going on here right now. 2 down on Xiller's side. Maybe this is the opportunity for S4 to go in and take over that lead. I'm not really sure. But when you have those clams, you just have to be really careful. You can't hold on to them as long as you possibly are.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
No, S4 was just able to break the numbers down a whole lot. So now we're sitting at 38 and 68. I think that this is a really good time to pay attention and see what happens with the different back and forth map control. What's more important for them here?
Yeah, absolutely. And S4, that was just such a great push. They were able to sneak in that last clam to reset the timer, just making Xiller wait that much more, giving Team S4 that much more time to just set up this defense here. Really smart play from S4. Unfortunately, their defense is going to crack a little bit. Akai does get the clam off, does get Bubbles onto the point. Can they get these clams? Oh, unfortunately, those bubbles popped a little bit too early. Wombo is going to try to pick up the pieces, but that is 3 down for the side of Xiller as S4 regains control of the map here.
And that's where this type of map, like we were talking about earlier, these square maps are my favorite and so important for map control. When you have such a square mid, you can move so much faster. And this map is relatively open. There's not a lot of obstacles in the way. It's really easy to pick up clams in this type of map too. So we'll see How
Ooh, good
ooh,
double. Great defensive bubbles by Nies. Oh,
very
man. Then he
nice.
gets his third splat. He is cornered. Doesn't look like overtime's going to trigger. There's not enough clams on Ziller's side. As 3, 2, 1. It is over. Game
Oh
4 goes to
man.
Team S4. Double bubble trouble.
Wow. Wow. And that's why this one is just so much fun. I mean, in those last seconds, it was so close. If they just had enough clams there, they could have gotten into overtime. Maybe they could have come back, but when you just don't have enough clams on the map, there's no way you're going to do it.
Yeah, double NZAP there, just doing so much work at 18 and 16 KA for both of those players on S4. Just having those ink armors up, just making those pushers so much more safe for their team. But again, Yes, just like he knew when to pop those bubbles. He really capitalized it. I think every time they had bubbles up, they made some sort of play with it. And that was just a really great job. Really good technical play from S4.
And, how you were talking about positioning earlier, making sure that they're in the right place and to back up their team when those bubbles are available is really great.
Absolutely. The next match here is going to be Walleye Rainmaker. Oh man, I mean there's no question we're going to be seeing Stingray weapons.
For sure.
Do you think we're going to be seeing some bubbles still? There are definitely some points on this map where it could still be effective.
I think so. I think that you have this mid section where bubbles could come through. That would be really helpful. So we'll see how it works. Here we are, and it looks like we do have some.
Yeah, so
the forge.
Yeah, sticking with the forge here, we do have a Stingray on the side of Xiller as the first pop goes to Team S4. Map is pretty neutral. Pokefan trying to spot out Chassis here. Really great sharking job, but he knows he's there. His time there is numbered, and oh wow, this is just
man.
Just shift in the night. Oh, what a joke!
Oh.
This is insane.
This is the type of thing that you clip and put on Twitter.
Absolutely, but that was so much space created for his team. Akai's already on the podium. Can he get the dunk?
Man, can he do it? Oh my
gosh!
That was it. That's all you need sometimes. You need to distract one of those players, especially someone like a sniper, a charger. You need to distract them, get them off the field so that you can have someone run and clear objective. And there are some weapons that play distraction a little better than others sometimes, but definitely that match ended so quickly, and they were able to really take control of that.
Absolutely.
The game, but there are definitely teams who have their own way of talking about things, and you always wonder kind of who's saying what on what end.
Absolutely. As we go into this game, number 3, the score is tied 1-1, Team S4 versus Team Xiller. Looks like we have, neither team opting to go double Stingray. This is a smart choice from the side of Xiller, going for that Splatter Shot Pro. Unfortunately, he is going to go down to Pokefan with a very quick snipe. Very quick advantage for Team S4 as Tim is pushing up to a snipe, trying to find something. Unfortunately, their team had to get off the tower, so they didn't get it pushed too far, but things are just remaining neutral here as we have dueling Stingrays.
That's always so much fun to watch, are they going for each other? Are they going for people on the map? Are they trying to protect their teammates? Like, what's the thoughts within those dueling Stingrays right there?
Yeah, but unfortunately it looks like this push is done. Even though Xiller was 2 down, they were able to recover beautifully, get people off the tower, and are starting to push it on their own with their own ticks on the board now. Chassis, going to avoid that suction bomb, is going to get a pick. Has to expend the splashdown to stay safe, as Tim is by himself. He might get picked off by the splash-blaster. It looks like it as they continue their push. Xiller approaching that. First checkpoint. Good Stingray from Pokefan. Look at that build!
Oh man. And that's special. That's exactly what we were talking about. As much special power up as you can.
Actually on Stingray, I want to say the numbers on that. I think that's 1.5 extra seconds for the Stingray.
Wow.
So he was just wondering, like, hey, when is this going to run out? But they do, unfortunately, despite that super long Stingray, they do lose the first checkpoint. Tim has a lot of territory to take control of here as the Stingray is trying to fish out the members of Xiller, is going to find one, unfortunately isn't going to find more, as they're going to have to abandon their push as they go 2 down here.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like that's the case. And this is a great time for Xiller to kind of step in and maybe make their own push, try to go a little further. But they're sitting at a good lead. They don't really need to do so much, especially on this map where it's not a very windy course for the tower.
Absolutely, and once you get that first checkpoint, it's just so easy to defend.
Yes.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see this match go to time, but S4 has, of course, something to say to that, as they have another Stingray. Unfortunately, it's going to be off the mark. I'm not really seeing too much team play with S4's Stingrays here. That might be a pain point that they're going to have to look at when we review the VOD. Unfortunately, Xiller is going to clean them up, 2 down on each side, but I believe that was a delayed wipe for S4.
I agree.
As we go back to neutral here.
And it looks like almost the rain could have been popped a little closer to mid, and maybe that would have helped as well, kind of take a little more map control, although it is pretty evenly covered right now. Oh no, Xiller really does have a lot more map control coming up through mid and pushing down into S4's zone. Maybe that'll help them, maybe that'll be what they need to kind of get that off. Even the Stingray is a little low on power, unable to push Chassis off there, and they're able to use their own Stingray to help defend and making some more moves, ticking down that timer. I don't know. You think it could go to time? I'm not really sure.
I mean, just as you say that, unfortunately, Xiller does get wiped. One thing I do want to point out real quick, Xiller's Stingray, they could pair it with the Splatter Shots point sensor, and that makes kill confirms so much easier with Stingray. I really would like to see, let's see, oh, here we go, yes, let's see if we can stick with that Stingray. Unfortunately, though, he does go down. It's so hard to aim Stingray sometimes, because with those shockwave hits, you can't always tell when you're hitting with the shockwave and when you're hitting with the main part of the beam, which of course is so much more damage per second.
For sure, definitely. I did 1v1s to practice my Stingray when I first started Sloshing Machine, because I was like, I can't aim for anything. You know, it's not easy as much as people say, but this looks like this might actually be an opportunity for S4 to push to get at least one more checkpoint. Ooh.
That Stingray was huge. Oh, they're going to lead off of this, and
this is
S4
it.
content to back off with that.
For sure.
My goodness.
Nice.
That was insane.
That was it. And that special charge up is what did it.
Yeah, absolutely. That special power, just those long Stingrays, you can't contest the tower as easily from those points. He knew exactly where to place it. He definitely heard me about that Stingray call out, because that Stingray literally won Team S4 the game. Absolutely. Yeah, as we kick it over to game number 4, again, Team S4 up 2-1 against Xiller in this best of 5 set. We have pretty much the same thing from Team S4. I mean, hey, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
For sure.
It's been working. So let's see how a charger plays out. Not something that you normally see on this map, but let's see.
Yeah, and we actually have the Sloshing Machine has changed out. So that's an interesting thing, and we have a try, which I think they had try earlier, but you know, I wasn't expecting to see them swap out of that.
Yeah, S4 with that early lead Tim is going to go down on the point. Those are neutral, very slight lead. Koro and Wombo are going to cover that other zone. Timer again. This is what's crazy about Black Belly zones. Like, those zones just can be capped back and forth so quickly, and you just have to ink out, pun intended, that just incremental advantage and just slowly keep it going. And as these suction bombs are going to be so hard for the side of Xiller to deal with, they can't stay on that middle pillar. Wombo is going to go down to one. Jeez.
That tower is so important in these small zones too, because from there you have vantage where you can look on either side. You're able to do damage control if you find that you're losing zone. You know, it's a great place to be and to camp, but if you can't control it with those suction bombs like we just saw, then you don't really have an option.
Yeah, and like, despite all of that, despite how strong S4 looked on that last push, it's still Xiller's lead. Xiller still had control of the zones. They have control of the zones now. Tim is in no man's land, is going to get splatted. Stingray's going to come out, missing Akai. Oh, he is going to find him now.
Yeah. Oh, man. And this is it. This is just falling, you know, really quickly winding down. Oh, that penalty, that's gonna hurt. Those 39 seconds, that can, you know, make or break when you're at 50 and 89. That's a big difference.
Absolutely, and for those of you at home who don't know how the penalty works, it actually takes the amount of points that you scored that push and halves it, and then applies it to the penalty. So the bigger push you have, it looks like we have a DC on the side of Xiller. So looks like they're going to, I'm not sure what the DC rules are. So the match has ended. We are going to let the timer run out. I'm not sure if there's going to be a replay.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either, but I do know that they'll let the timer run out, and this is, you know, perfect opportunity for everyone to kind of squid party it up for the next 2 minutes and and change. But yeah, we'll definitely check in and see what the rules are for that.
3 suction bombs between their team members. So if anybody has the tools at their disposal, to make that quick cap, I think it's S4.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that it's something that can be done, and we'll see, you know, how Xiller is able to combat that, knowing that they have all those suction bombs.
Oh, and yeah, Tim very aggressive here. Oh, he's going to find Chassis. He can't. Oh, just as I say that, he finds a splat. Wombo, though, is pushing up. Oh, I don't know how he missed or didn't get killed there, but he had ink armor. I just didn't see. That was insane. Wombo, the squid who lived, just dies through falling. As they get almost get the cap on the zone. Oh, Chassis there at the right time to stop that from happening.
And this is where, you know, we'll see how quickly, because before we were definitely looking at a reverse and then they came back. So we'll see if that is going to continue for the theme of this.
Absolutely, and PokeFan, I do want to highlight, I've been calling out his build a couple of times. Respawn Punisher, what it does is it adds an additional second and some change to your respawn time, and also increases the respawn penalty for special lost by 15%. Conversely, the respawn penalty timer and the special penalty is the same for you. Actually, the special penalty is 25% for you. So you definitely want to run it on a weapon like a charger where you are splatting more people than...
Hopefully you're splatting more people than are splatting you.
Exactly. That sentence was getting away from me. Thanks, Melissa.
No problem. And we can even see with that splashdown for these small zones is the perfect size for that. You know, it's going to take really quickly, take control, make sure that the zone is completely covered with that.
Yeah, and gets you out of a sticky situation, because most of the time the other team is watching your every move on the point and shooting at you.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. And, you know, Akai getting away from that Stingray, trying to make sure that they're in a safe position, but unfortunately they do go down. And this is really close so far. Both teams had really good penalties. They're both similar points, going back and forth. A little more similar to what we had seen at the beginning of the match before the DC.
Yeah, definitely. But S4 is starting to break away here. They're looking strong with their positioning. Pokafan on that infamous center pillar. He can see all. He can kill all if he so choose. And it looks like his teammates are going to do that for him as he's more than content to just zone out all Xiller as they start to stagger. This lead is just growing stronger and stronger. They can't get back on the point. They're starting to die in pairs. Oh, goodness.
Oh, man.
Could this be a 3-1 game?
It might. It might. This might be it. I mean, they're trying really hard to keep pushing through. Xiller's working on it, but maybe their team their communication is failing them, or not really sure, but they can't keep 4 alive enough to make decent.
And it's a full wipe for Team S4. That's Stingray doing so much work.
And that, wow, that did it. That did
it.
That was
1. Go ahead.
That special communication right there really changed. They made it so that the Xiller couldn't even break in and do anything about it.
Yeah, that double ink armor. I mean, from both sides, but you saw S4 was capitalizing on it so